So here's the deal. I had another green day, but we got to talk. Or let's say I've got to have a talk with myself and you're going to listen. So as you can see, $100 per account, nothing crazy. 3 trades today, 1 winner or 1 loser and 2 winners, all of them $100 basically. So 1 $100 loser, 2 $100 winners, and we'd walk out of there with plus 100. The evals, so my Apex account, I don't forget if I shared this. I bought an Apex account yesterday. Had a good day yesterday, had a good day today. So up 800 in 2 days, happy with that. The take profit account basically broke even today. We were up down on it a little bit. So it's sitting where it was. And I also have a Tradeify account that I lost 500 on today, day 1. No big deal. So anyway, that's the journey on the evals. Not that they're super important, but just sharing what I'm doing. So here goes. NASDAQ, nothing on the NASDAQ. Missed a really nice trade on the Russell this morning. I was a bit preoccupied this forenoon and I missed this setup. This was part of my game plan today, was if we get a break and retest at one of these 2 levels on the Russell, I wanted to take that long. I was not looking for a short. I was looking for a long. Had it there and I just missed it. So goes. You miss them sometimes. I really thought about taking this trade right here when we kind of broke and retested and held this overnight high. I really almost took that trade. I wish I had. That would have been a decent trade on the Dow Jones. But now we get into the heart and the meat and potatoes of today. 3 trades. Can you spot the problem? Had an excellent entry this morning. Got wick stopped out, re-entered, profitable trade, re-entered, profitable trade. Should have been 1 trade, big move, done. That's the problem. Here's the thing that I see. Well, first of all, let me show you TradeZilla. I made a note, and I think it maybe explains it a little bit more clearly. So, oh yeah, I don't need that. Can I here? No. Well, what the world is going on here with TradeZilla? I had an issue with TradeZilla and I was trying to, can we hide this? There we go. That's what I was after. All right. So today we are up 315, 66% win rate. As you can see, $100 basically per trade. Here's the nice thing. The good thing is we've had 3 little green days back to back to back, which I like. That's good, but let's dive into the trades themselves for today. So trade 1 was this one. And my note on that is choppy morning, break and retest of 61.25. Ugly wick down, took me out. Big lesson. Here's one of the big things from today. I need to leave my stop at full position. In other words, $200, which is how I've got my stop set up. And if I increase my position size to like 3 or 5 or more contracts, I'm actually increasing that risk to $300. But anyway, leave my stop at full position to avoid these things and manually kill the trade if I don't like it. This could have been a bomber trade. And as you can see, so here's the way this looked this morning. I entered right here with 4 contracts long. My $200 stop would have been sitting somewhere down here below VWAP. And I have a very bad habit. I realize this now. I didn't realize it. And it sounds like, how did I not understand this before? But I have a nasty habit of I set my stop as where I don't want to stay in the trade anymore, where I want to get out. And I set the stop here, which was right around $100. And had I left it as a worst case scenario, and hopefully I can explain this so that it makes sense. I need to leave my stop at, okay, this is if the sky is falling, Chicken Little, we got to run. That's where the stop has to be. And if I don't like a trade, I kill it. I can kill the trade when it breaks a level. Like if we candle body close below a level and it just looks like it's falling apart, I can kill it. But I'm leaving the stop down here as a worst case scenario. And had I done that today, and this has happened before, this has happened numerous times, and for some stupid reason, it never dawned upon me until today. But this nasty wick, boom, wick down, took me out, and it continued to climb higher. And because of that, I was a little bit gun shy on this little retest. See, I enter here. We have this little chop. I wick stop out. We have a push up. We have some wicky action. This was a nasty price action this morning, but I like the setup. We had finally cleanly broken above this 61.25, and I felt strongly that we were rejecting. Now we turned it into support. I just got killed by this stupid wick. And then I got cold feet here because I'd been stopped out. Well, I really should have just got in right here. And I didn't get back in until we started to hold above here. Got in, had my second trade, which leads me to the next problematic area. So this is the glaring thing, is I am going forward. I am leaving my stop at max position, and I will manually stop if I don't like where the trade is going, and leave that as I mean, I'm not trying to take full stops, but I'm so used to, and I think that may be where some of my struggles come from. For like, if I have a profit target sitting way up above here or somewhere up above, I have a very difficult time closing a trade. Very difficult time. I have almost an innate need for the market to hit my target, and it's just a weakness. And I think that weakness comes from I'm used to setting a stop and allowing it to stop me out or go to my profit target. Well, if I get in the habit of leaving my stop where it needs to be as a worst case scenario, and then killing a trade if I don't like it, maybe I can do some push-ups, if you will, with that muscle, and learn to get out of a trade sometimes when it's in profit, but it looks like we're stalling or whatever. So anyway, that's the big lesson takeaway there. And then the next one, again, I took this trade. I like the entry here, out with the first two contracts, kind of sluggish. And here's the problem. I drew an arrow right here. See how I started trailing my stop after we had this pullback? I set through all this, and this really ended up just continuing to climb. Instead of leaving my stop down here at break even, which is where it goes after I hit my first target, instead of leaving it there, I started aggressively trailing it, and guess what happened? I got stopped out literally pretty much to the tick. You can see right there's the stop out. It tickled it, boom, boom, and then we just go back higher. So again, I'm out of the trade with profit, and it was an okay trade. It was a good trade, but it could have been a lot better had I managed that trade better. And then the same thing happened again on the third setup. This one, there's a big lesson here. So this one here, we had again began to push up, broke above this level, and I went long again. Didn't get out here, and I probably should have at least taken half off here. My stop, when my first target was at 10 points, which was somewhere here. And when we got to there, what I should have done is just pull that target down, took at least 2 contracts off, got out of there with some kind of a win, and then went from there. Well, what I didn't do is I just left my target, which is okay. And then we had the pullback, set through that, we push up, we do this chop around, and then right here, you can see right here at the bottom, we had some very, very, very big volume come in. For some reason, I don't know what it was, but we had some huge volume come in, pushed this candle down past my entry. I'm into the red now, but we're staying strongly above this 61.39. So because the big red candles of high volume couldn't get any follow through, and we were followed immediately by green candles pushing back up. When I saw that inability to continue on the push down, I decided to keep holding, and it was the right call. And then we finally push out. I hit my second profit target, or my first profit target here. So I'm in that trade for an hour and 20 minutes before I finally get to the first target. And then as we pull back here, I take my second one there, and I thought I had it's not showing my, did I take 2 off there? Oh, there's only 2 contracts. No, that's not right. I was in with at least 3 or 4. Anyway, something is not right here. I think that might be 2 contracts here and 2 contracts. Yeah, that was a 4 contract trade, 2 off here for $50 and 2 off there for another 50. And again, as is signified with this arrow here and here, had I just left the stop alone, basically when I reach my first target, my rule is my stop then goes to break even. If I get taken out, whoop-de-doo, we move on with life. Had I left it alone, this would have chopped around and I would have gotten a much bigger move. Now, ultimately here, end of the day, this thing did fall apart, but I could have gotten out of there with at least more than what I had here. So this is not as big of an issue. I'm protecting my trade. I'm getting out of there with, you know, about a 1 hour trade, which is fine. The issue more was right here this morning. I had the direction correct today. The trade plan today was on the ES, was if we get a pullback to this level or this level, I wanted to take a long. I really didn't have this identified, but that was anything really above yesterday's high of day. If we could get a pullback to any of the levels above high of day yesterday, I wanted to take that long, and we got that right here. Perfect. We had a flip, you know, in the morning there was a nasty chop and we just couldn't get above it, and we finally broke through it and retested it and held it. That was cue to go long. And that is classic break and retest strategy. And my inability to leave my stop down here as a worst case scenario and stick with that trade, really not sticking with the trade, but my stop position allowed this little wiki noise action to take me out of a trade that really should have probably been about a $300 trade today. So I feel a little bit sad about that, and it's just, I'm going to try to clean that up. I plan tomorrow and going forward, I'm not moving that stop. I am looking at the market saying, okay, if price comes down to a certain area and I feel like this thing's rolling over, falling apart, I can get out. That's fine. But I'm leaving it so that I avoid this type of thing from taking me out of trade. So again, good day. I'm happy with it. It's a positive day. Or a green day is always better than a red day. Drawdowns are getting better and better, almost up to 1,000 on these upper 2 accounts. And this one's finally back over 50. Got to get it back up to the 51.5 and then continue. I've had that thing up there to 1,500 in profit twice now and gave it all back. So I want to try to avoid that. But anyway, good day. Anytime we learn something, I think it's always a win. So the other thing that I want to point out that I really talked to myself today is I had some issues, obviously, I was a little bit frustrated with myself as I just couldn't seem to get a good trade going, even though I was reading the market direction carefully. And I don't need to have $200 days. I had a good day yesterday, up 200, another 100 today. So on the week for 2 days, I'm up 300 per account. And I want to keep that in consideration. Tomorrow, like for the rest of the week, I don't need to have big days. If I can have another $200 day, great. If I can have another $100 day, great. If it's a $50 day, fine. At least we're stacking profits on top of profits and not looking for home runs. If we happen to hit a home run and we get a big trade, awesome, let's take it. But let's not force things just because we're not having a big P&L day. And sometimes I do that. Sometimes I feel like, man, I got to get some more. I've got to get up to like 200 or 300. And then I end up with a red day after I could have been out with a small little green day and move on with life and understand that not every day is, a triple or a double or even a home run. So anyway, sorry about the little rant, but I just needed to get that off my chest and kind of speak to myself, and you get to hear that. So anyway, remember that the Apex sale that you see this little banner up right now, it is ending tonight at midnight. So if you need Apex accounts, great time to buy them. The 80% off is a great deal. And I want to say thank you to those of you that use my code for Apex and also Take Profit Trader. That 30% off, no activation fee deal still going for them. Also affordable indicators, and really just anybody that uses my code, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Hope you had a good day today. We'll try to be back at it tomorrow. One of the things I'm really excited about is we have finally broken and stayed above a previous high of day. We have not been able to stay above a previous high of day for nearly a month. It has been break the high and give it back, break the high, give it back, break the high, give it back, over and over and over again. And today we finally broke that line. This is the purple line, is yesterday's high of day. We finally broke it in a big way in the overnight session, but we didn't give it back today. and we stayed above some of these key areas around the 22,250s, the 22,200s. We stayed above that today. That is very bullish, and I think really maybe we finally are going to push this market to some new highs, and that's really where I tend to do a little bit better with the break and retest strategy. So even though we didn't take trades on the NASDAQ, I do obviously monitor that quite a bit, and I would have taken trades if something would have set up, but didn't get the setup I wanted. But we found a couple on ES, and there's the lesson for today. So, all right, I got to shut up. Thanks for following along. Appreciate you all, and take care. Until next time, so long.